Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I'm your host, Nasira Jamal. I'm so grateful that you're here. Now, it's midweek Wednesday. I hope that you're accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish, all the things that you have on your list. As you all know, I've always been a proponent of, making a list, having your top three, and time blocking. So this is really important in terms of, being efficient in our business, in our life, just to make sure we get doing things that need to be done, prioritizing, and feeling accomplished. Because sometimes you have things on your list, and if you're basically just not knocking things off, you kind of feel defeated by the end of the day, and that affects the energy that you hold within you. So today's guest, and I'm so honored to have her accept my invitation for this interview. Her name is Rachel Pereyra, and she is an expert on this exact topic, on what we're talking about. She helps business owners, get into their potential of reaching their optimal operating potential. And what I wanted to talk to her about is how she helps business owners get to that next level. So let's bring her on and get this conversation started. Hey, Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Nasira, it's great. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Awesome. You know what? I appreciate it. I see you're in the car. You've allotted this time just for me, which I'm very grateful for. So before we begin, I want to hear about your story. Like, how did you get to doing what you're doing? I know you're passionate about this work that you're doing now, but how did you land here? What happened?
So it's kind of one of those, the universe wanted me to do this kind of stories. So I started out in retail, and like I feel like a lot of young people do. I started my family young, and so I needed to support my family, and retail was something I had experience in from high school, and so I worked my way up into the management sector in retail, but the hours are unforgiving. I was a department head at Toys R Us back when they were still open, and I mean, you could work a 60-hour week, you could work a 10-hour week. You never knew. It depended on the business needs, and you could be short staffed, and so it was really rough. And I felt like I wasn't getting to be a part of my family or maximize, like it wasn't really, like I didn't love it. It didn't light me up. So I had an opportunity to start working in the finance sector, which was kind of weird because in school I always thought I hated math. But I started working in subprime lending, so it's lending for people who can't get a traditional loan through like a bank or a credit union. And so I did title lending. I know, don't hate me. I did title lending for almost 2 years, and then I wound up moving into the subprime sector. So we would do credit-based loans for people who didn't have, like, their credit scores are under 700, and they couldn't get a credit from the bank, but they needed money. And so I did that for 6 years. I wound up managing my own branch in 2 different cities and running my team. And again, anyone who's managed knows that once you manage, it's again 60-hour work weeks. There's always a fire. There's always a fire. Something's always wrong. And so I learned a lot through that job and that position on how to properly manage a team. I saw a lot of inefficiencies that I wanted to fix, but because I worked for a corporation, that's not my job. And so I started seeing that, and it was burnt out. So I decided to leave that position and take a step back so I could focus on finding what I wanted to do with this next chapter in my life. I turned 30 this year, and so that was a big milestone for me. And I didn't want to spend the next 30 years of my life doing something that didn't make me happy. So I took a job as an administrative assistant for an investment firm, and it was a lot easier. There's a lot less responsibility, but still let me utilize my administrative skills. And it gave me the time and the space to kind of decompress and really sort through what it was that made me happy and what I liked. And so in January of this year, I dipped my toe into freelancing as a VA, or a virtual assistant. And I really enjoyed that, but I felt virtual assistants typically are not involved in strategy and decision making. You can make suggestions, but you're really more implementing someone else's ideas, which is great. And I'm not the only person who has great ideas, believe me. But I found myself gravitating more back towards that managerial role that I'd held in corporate. And I wanted to offer that to my clients, but I hadn't even heard of OBM, or online business manager. So as I got started in the online industry, I learned that there were people called online business managers, and I heard about Sarah Noked, who's in the online business manager community, is like one of the biggest trainers. And so I started taking her accelerator course and learned about what it really is and what an OBM does, and realized that I was already doing that for some clients, and that was perfectly fit in my wheelhouse. And I really love being able to help someone take their vision and make it a reality.
Brilliant. I mean, that is so amazing that from all of the experience, all of the things that you did landed you to almost like something that was, gift wrapped just for you, because you had this skill set and now you found a way to actually put it in place for people and help them, because you already have your genius. You already know what you're really, really good at. And now you've got a way to channel it, basically, a way to get it to the person who needs it most. I love it. And I love the fact that you said, you took a step back. For a lot of people, I think that for especially going into entrepreneurship, it's like you can't take that step back because you're just in that rat race of just keeping up. You're not happy. You're not lit up. It doesn't inspire you by any means. So I love the fact that you took that step back, even though you were holding such high positions, doing some probably very amazing things in corporate that was making a difference, but it still wasn't really what you were called to do. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so that gives us sort of the framework of how you found your genius, which I love, because I think entrepreneurs all over, or people that want to take this entrepreneurial journey, kind of want to figure out, well, I don't even know what I like, or I don't know what lights me up. And this is where you need that step back. Just take a step back, right? And reevaluate, take a breather. And I think COVID-19 has definitely given us a forced upon reset, like step back. Take a new look. And you started this January before COVID hit in March.
Mm-hmm.
So you were basically just starting to kind of get all of this together. So how did you pivot that? Well, how did you work through that?
So in January, I just started just dipping my toes in a little bit. I only had a couple clients on a project basis. And then COVID hit in March in Texas. And some of my clients at that point were actually local clients. And their businesses were affected, and they just didn't have the budget anymore. And at the beginning of COVID, I did what I feel like a lot of people did. And I curled up on my couch with my kids and ate too many snacks and watched too many reruns. And I spent a couple weeks just kind of emotionally processing it with my family and dealing with the effects of that. And then I was like, this isn't me. I'm not the person who wallows. I said, I've sat on the couch enough. So I went back to my computer and I started figuring out how I could market to people who weren't local and what services I could provide completely digitally. And that's kind of how I stumbled into figuring out virtual assisting in the OBM world. I started out on Upwork, which is like a online platform for freelancers and people who need work from freelancers. And so I started getting jobs there, and that kind of raised my confidence level. And then I started learning about how to market myself on Facebook and through social media ads and engagement in groups. And now I'm getting clients that way instead.
And that's the brilliance of all of this. Like, you wouldn't have imagined that you would learn so much in this time of COVID, where people are like, oh my God, what do I do now? And it's about taking that step to say, you know what, I'm going to go figure it out. I'm going to go learn a new skill. I'm going to learn how to do this online stuff, because everybody now has to be somewhat online to be able to connect to their customers, their clients, even family. Like, all these Zoom meetings and birthday parties that we can't have, right? We're doing them online. So this is a new world. And I love the fact that you didn't stay too long in that wallow mode, and you figured out that, I'm just going to go and learn something else that's going to help me help others. Because at the end of the day, your business is about helping other people excel and scale their businesses. So sure. It's a very important aspect, because we all need help. See, in any kind of business, whatever, in coaching, you need somebody that can help you get to that next level. We don't know everything about everything. And I think, especially with your type of expertise, it's brilliant, because you can help a business owner move that needle. right?
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. Now I know you're launching something very exciting. So if you can kind of walk me through that, that would be great.
Yes. So when I started my journey in January, I was lucky that I found a couple good sources of information to help get me started. But as I was starting to dive deeper, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you're new to the online service provider world, or you're new to having an online business, or even if you're just trying to pivot your business online, you don't know what you don't know. So it's kind of hard to figure out. And so I did a lot of trial by error and a lot of learning by fire. And so I realized that it would be helpful to people to have one place to go to get the general idea of all of the basics. So like, how do I do social media content? Like, how do I figure out what to do for my brand? How do I create systems and processes that will help me be more efficient? And so I have a private Facebook group where I kind of engage with people and help answer their questions and share some of my history. And so I've been talking with other women in the industry, and we've partnered up to have have them in as guest speakers so they can speak on their zone of genius to help people who are new to the online business world or who just feel kind of stuck learn new skills in a quick way. So you only have to go to one place instead of Googling, because once you go down the rabbit hole, you're stuck for hours. And so this way they could tune into the live trainings, and we can go over, answer questions, and kind of talk about what things are. Like my video last week, I explained what an SOP, or a standard operating procedure, is, and why everyone should have them. Even if you're just a solopreneur and you never even think you're going to have a team member, you probably will at some point, and it makes your life so much easier.
That's brilliant. And I love the fact that, we can go down the rabbit hole of Google and kind of get sidetracked. And then now we don't even know what we were looking for, because we've landed on another page that's kind of another shiny object. And I think time is, all of us have 24 hours in a day. And we need to be able to optimize when we're working, how to get the most work done in the least amount of trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that you have streamlined it all for somebody to go into your Facebook group and find the information easily and effectively to help them right away, rather than saying, well, I need help with this and I need help with, but I don't know where to find it, and da, da, da. Because there's lots of information out there. Let's be real, right? Mm-hmm. Really, you can find it on Google, but it may take weeks and months for you to decipher how it can help you in your business specifically.
Yes.
Right. So I love it. I love that. And I can't wait for you to launch it. Now, you did say to me that's coming up in September, correct? Or you're
Yeah. So it's going to be end of August, early September, because I wanted to make sure I had time to speak with and kind of vet through the information that the guests were bringing to the group. So that way I could make sure I could co-sign everything they're saying as well. So right. You'll know when you come in that it's something I've researched as well, and that I've met with them. I have those interviews are starting this week. And so I think we should be set up by the end of August to go live.
Excellent. Perfect. So now my next question to you, I know I have lots of questions for you. If I wanted to, let's say, work with you, I want to kind of go through how you would walk me through that process of figuring this out. Let's say I wanted to work with you. Can you kind of walk me through what that would look like?
For sure. So generally you'll fill out like an intake form on my website, or you'll let me know on my socials that you're interested, and I will send you to my calendar. So you'll book a discovery call, free discovery call, no charge. I usually spend about 45 minutes on the phone on my discovery call, so that way I have enough time to get to know you. Before our call, you'll get a questionnaire to help me do my back of house research on you and your business, to understand some things I see maybe you could need, or to get a better feeling for your energy and where you're taking your business. And then we'll have our chat, like I said, usually about 40 minutes long. And I'll ask you to tell me what your actual day is like today. So like, what did you do today? What did you do yesterday? And tell me the truth, no judgment. There are some days where I spend way, way too long on Facebook also. So if you spent 3 hours, scrolling through all the videos, tell me the truth. And then I'm going to ask you to tell me what your dream day would be as a business owner. So if in your dream day, you're booking a client call, and, then you leave to go golfing at noon, or you leave on vacation and you're off for a week, and you have a continuity plan in place for someone else to handle your business, then that's something I would like to know. And then I will work with you to figure out how I can use my services to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
That's so brilliant, right? Because we all have this idea, or at least in my business, I know where I'm at and I know where I want to get to. And sometimes it's like, this line is not necessarily a straight line. It can be very wiggly because we're kind of figuring it out. But if somebody like you could actually say, we can make this very easy because there's step A, B, and C, then you kind of have that roadmap, right? There's a blueprint there to say, okay, well, now you need to do this and you need to have this in place, right? So I think that, in any business, especially for those that are beginning to grow and beginning to scale, it'd be good to have that kind of blueprint in place. So I love it. I love the fact that you do these discovery calls that are to get to know the person and get to know what they want to do, and then inject your genius into it so that you can help them get there.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. And typically, I don't know if you maybe, like, typically how long do you work with somebody, or does it really depend on where they want to get to? Like, do you typically work with them as much as they need, or is it like project based?
So it does kind of depend on what they need. I've had some people who just need a system set up. So they just need like their project management tool set up, and that would just be a one-off project base, maybe like 2 weeks, 30 days, depending on the system. And then I have clients who are more long-term, or looking for someone to kind of come on board as their right hand. And that's my tagline. Every superhero needs a sidekick. And so I feel like that's something that I offer as well. So I kind of run the gamut of anything between project-based to more long-term. And I mean, it can go anywhere. The retainer packages are typically about 3 months at a time, and then we can reevaluate from there depending on where you're at. But I have project-based packages as well.
That's amazing. And I think the idea of, just getting a chance to work with you and seeing if it's a right fit, and, feeling that energy, right? To say, I feel that this is the right move, is really important. I love what you said, and I'm going to quote you because I told you I was going to use it. I love the fact that you said, energy trumps experience. And I think that's so powerful in so many areas and levels, not just business, but in life as well, is what energy we put into our business. What energy are we bringing to our customers, our clients, our prospects? It's so important. So I want to thank you for sharing that with me, because I think that says a lot about, well, for one, how you do your business, but sometimes it's not just about the experience. It's about the energy you feel with the other person.
I agree. If your business energy doesn't feel positive, then you're going to attract that kind of energy back from the universe. And so if 2020 has taught me anything, it's that I need to stay in a positive mindset and put out positive vibes regardless of what's coming back, and the universe will provide.
Excellent. I love that. And I'm a big proponent of that. I teach it. I talk about it. I think the law of attraction is working either way, negative or positive. So why not just, either way, right? Why not just be that beacon of light, that beacon of positivity? And no matter what's going on around us, if we can keep that energy up, then it comes back, right? It's like a magnet. It refracts it back. So as parting words, I've had such a wonderful time with you here, and just kind of getting to know you and what you do. Is there anything in terms of that you can share with us for somebody that's either starting their business, or they're looking at scaling 2020, they want to make it sort of the last half of it, maybe more profitable? Can you share something that could help them?
Yes. So I recommend that if you do not have your processes written down, that you sit down, and there's a service called Loom, so you can screen record and video record yourself simultaneously. I recommend the next time you onboard a client or do one of your major revenue generating processes, you record it and then sit down and write down what you did and look at it and see if it's really efficient. Because chances are, we're all guilty of this. You're doing some extra steps and things that could be automated or changed or maybe even delegated, so that way you can spend your time on your business. So that way you're working on it, not in it.
That's amazing. What profound wisdom that I think you've shared, because I think a lot of us, get sort of into the doing part of it all. And that's where that time kind of gets away from us. So this is really key in terms of figuring it out in the steps and processes, that could be, and sometimes you find holes in when you record it and you see, oh my gosh, I see quite a few holes in this, right? Of where I could maybe optimize and be better at it. And so I love that. Thank you so very much. I welcome you back. I can't wait to join your group. So I'm looking forward to that. How do people get in touch with you if they want to get a hold of you?
So my group is the Entrepreneur Community. You can search us on Facebook and find me through there, or you can go to my website, mastermindbusinessservices.com.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I'll be sharing this out as well, because I definitely think that people are in need, especially right now, as they're beginning to think of the next 6 months of how they're going to proceed with their businesses and how they can scale and all of that beautiful stuff. So thank you so much, Rachel. I wish you a wonderful day, a prosperous week, and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. So there you go. That was Rachel Pereyra. Now, was that not the most beautiful person that you've seen on screen, with the most, I think, illuminated energy, I want to say, because she speaks from her heart. You can see the genuine spirit, and really in figuring out how she can help business owners. I think, we can see everybody that wants to figure out their genius. It's about that journey. She spoke about how she got to it and how she took that step back. So for those of you watching, or those of you watching on replay, #replay, but definitely look at it from that perspective of how do you want to be in your business? What energy do you want to show up with? If you're just starting out or you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, think about those things that really matter to you, what brings you light, what makes you really happy, what makes you want to get up out of bed and go do that exact thing that brings your light to the world. So as I end today, I want to wish you a wonderful, prosperous day. Be healthy, be safe, and remember to be kind to yourself and others. I'll see you guys tomorrow.